Breaking news today. A bomb was discovered in a Russian city, prompting the evacuation of over 3,000 people. An undetonated bomb was discovered in the Russian city of Belgorod, prompting the evacuation of thousands of residents. 2 days after Russia accidentally dropped a bomb on the same city, about 25 miles from the border with Ukraine, over 3,000 people were evacuated on Saturday. Whether or not the bomb was dropped by the same plane is unknown. The unexploded bomb was discovered in the same location as the bomb that went off target on Thursday night. Vyacheslav Gladkov, the local governor, said that 17 apartment buildings, within a radius of 200 meters, of the unexploded bomb had to be evacuated. On Thursday night, a bomb went off, leaving a crater about 20 meters wide and injuring at least 2 people. The blast leveled several buildings and blew a car onto the roof of a nearby store. A Russian fighter jet accidentally discharged aircraft ordnance over the city, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. An undetonated bomb was discovered in the Russian city of Belgorod, prompting the evacuation of thousands of residents. 2 days after Russia accidentally dropped a bomb on the same city, about 25 miles from the border with Ukraine, over 3,000 people were evacuated on Saturday. Whether or not the bomb was dropped by the same plane is unknown. The unexploded bomb was discovered in the same location as the bomb that went off target on Thursday night. Vyacheslav Gladkov, the local governor, said that 17 apartment buildings, within a radius of 200 meters, of the unexploded bomb had to be evacuated. On Thursday night, a bomb went off, leaving a crater about 20 meters wide and injuring at least 2 people. The blast leveled several buildings and blew a car onto the roof of a nearby store. A Russian fighter jet accidentally discharged aircraft ordnance over the city, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. On Saturday, Russia announced that it was expelling a number of German diplomats as part of a retaliatory move, but Germany did not immediately confirm that it was doing the same. Without providing a citation, Russia's state-run RIA Novosti news agency reported that Germany was expelling more than 20 Russian diplomats. According to a spokesperson for Germany's foreign ministry, recent communications between Berlin and Moscow regarding diplomatic representations explain why a Russian government plane landed in Berlin. After Moscow sent its armed forces into Ukraine in February 2022 and the West responded with sanctions and weapons for Ukraine, relations between Russia and Germany deteriorated. There will be a large-scale expulsion of Russian diplomatic staff in Germany, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement, citing decisions made by the German authorities. Berlin's continued destructive behavior toward Russian-German relations is strongly condemned by us. Officials in eastern Ukraine say at least 5 Russian missiles damaged civilian buildings late Saturday night in the city of Kharkiv and the surrounding districts. For months, Russia has been firing drones and missiles at various targets in Ukraine in an effort to destroy or severely damage essential infrastructure. A house was hit by a missile in the village of Kotlyari to the south of Kharkiv, and a major fire broke out in the city itself, according to a telegram post by Regional Governor Ole Senegabov. Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, the former president of Brazil, said on Saturday that he did not want to please anyone with his stance on Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Lula stated in Lisbon, at the beginning of his first visit to Europe as president, that he hoped to build a way to bring both of them, Russia and Ukraine, to the table. "I want to find a third alternative to solving the conflict, which is the construction of peace," he said at a news conference. He argued that the continued supply of arms to Ukraine by the United States and its European allies was prolonging the conflict last week. Lula once said, "If you are not making peace, you are contributing to war." The Obama administration claimed that Lula repeated falsehoods from Russia and China. Lula was joined at the press conference by Portuguese President Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, who stated that his country's stance on the war differed from Brazil's. Portugal, a founding member of NATO, has provided the Ukrainian government with weapons. Ukraine, according to Rebelo de Souza, has the right to defend itself and reclaim lost territory. After 4 years of Jair Bolsonaro's presidency, during which Brazil's relations with many countries, including its former colonial power, frayed, Lula arrived in Portugal on Friday for a 5-day visit to try to mend fences. Eric Regier, as reported by Dino Grandoni, spent 3 years traveling over 2,000 miles to a place he calls the end of the world. Wrangel Island is located in the Russian Arctic, but that didn't stop a biologist from the University of Washington from conducting research there. Regier was unable to continue his research into the polar bear population in 2020 due to the pandemic, but his Russian colleagues kept track of the bears on the isolated island anyway. Regier's research in Russia ground to a halt after Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine at the beginning of last year. Regier argues that the timing is poor because of how rapidly the world is evolving. The Russian invasion of Ukraine is a tragedy for the people caught in its path. But the effects have been catastrophic for wildlife and the scientists who study them. Research trips have been cancelled, conservation efforts have been slowed, funding has been cut, and data on species that are in danger of extinction without human intervention have gone uncollected as a result of sanctions and other U.S. policies meant to isolate Russia, as well as the Kremlin's crackdown on dissent.